Two, one.
I went mic, but it was coming through really blurry. So yeah, talk again then, Chris.
1 2 1 2 1 2. Hey hey 1 2.
That sounds bad.
1 1 1. It's a.
Hang on. Go again, mate.
1 2 1 2. Hey 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 1.
Try and get a wipe down or something while you're there.
Yeah.
I don't have any light on me. You have any light outside of your camera? I actually, I'll try and focus on this. It's probably too small though.
Hang on.
Yeah, can I focus on this? Yeah, that looks alright.
Yeah, done.
Good work.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. Looks at it.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Some of your finest white balance paper holding. Just give us a few. I think
Oh, 1 2 1 2 1 1 2. Hey hey 1 2.
And I'll just get it back.
Yeah.
Where's the history lesson?
Yeah, we've got someone else though.
Yes.
Yeah,
hang him in.
but I mean, we've got to start with the in the middle of it. Like,
Oh, you're true.
we're going to have to traverse it to get to college.
Oh, I get a 4:4, but I don't know with those digital cameras compared to mine.
Yeah.
Hey man, I'll just find out what you had. Police press conference for the PSO.
Is it in the back garden? Yeah.
It's story like it's for shops PSO. Yeah, I have another. I think I have another. Sorry. Yeah, well, because with this BYO2, so one more might be big numbers. 5,000. Oh, yeah, that's fine. That's good. 600. Oh, you are? Yeah, so PSO, shops, PSOs, press conference. Bush and Carbine.
Yeah, I want to talk about
Crash. And they want an update on Jesse, is he dead? And the police protested.
Yes, yeah, the continued hunt for the police.
Parliament House, album Let's Go, Stop
I will
Mass
go,
Immigration,
yeah.
Stop Government Corruption,
Oh.
Australians are
And that's
welcome.
also
No foreign flags.
legislation.
That's
Can you please take your mask off?
yes.
See how it goes.
Yeah, shove it up your
Yeah,
ass.
so I think it sounds very similar to me, the March for Australia, which makes me think it's just NSN again. No. I don't think he'd be allowed. Does he have an association? I'm not sure the shop is in. That's what I mean. Yeah. Oh, but he had explained it to them.
Well, that's it. He'll be represented by many others.
I should mention Roberts and
Dallas Stroudy, how are you? You should be seeing me on 3-2 and you should be hearing something. 1 2 3 4. Here we are at the BPC in the media room and 20-second delay, so 20. All right, cool. No.
I'm switched out to everyone, okay.
Everyone's going to get double
Give your
feed.
love to everyone.
Double feed.
You get the press. You get the press.
Everyone is the presser.
No worries. Thanks, fine. Cheers.
Everyone's
Oh, and me, I'm just playing the cameras. Yeah, exactly.
come out and
Probably
stand
more
in
than
front
that,
of,
yeah.
say, oh, well, you know, yeah, 100%.
We have
Norm Beeman used to joke about
One,
wanting to
two,
run
three,
a business like that.
Yeah,
Generous.
run it today.
He said it's 2025, so he
generous.
retired in 2018 or something. He goes, in 2020, I'll be running a business
Yeah.
where all you cameras just service all the
Thanks.
networks. Just from one central location in the city.
Probably makes sense.
He joked about it. He said, oh,
Yes.
he was trying to go, he was like joking, but he was for real. Like he kind of wanted, this is just for retire. Like he looked at a space in Nicholson Street near the State Control Centre.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was like that. He
That's
would
the
go on
thing
a low
about-
level and then work his way up through like sunrises and ratios and central booking.
Yeah. Imagine that.
Then he just took it along the fashion. It was like his investment in the gold mines. He just gave up.
Oh yeah.
He gave it a crack.
Yeah.
Morning Beeman. Cam Newman's dad.
Oh.
That's his dad. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Did I tell you about Norm yesterday?
Yeah, what did you do this
I
time?
had a bizarre experience yesterday.
Was it him?
Well, yeah, one of the many bizarre experiences. In the media conference, the Premier asked the Premier a question and she said, well, Norm,
Well, more.
and then asked the question. Oh, well. And then anyway, she went off and then came back and apologised and said, oh, sorry,
Yeah.
I had a brain fade, I thought you were Norm Beeman.
Norm Beeman, there you go. And I'm talking about him now. How
And she said, I apologise. I said, well, don't apologise to me, you've got to apologise to Norm.
No, I worked with Norm a bit. He should apologise to you.
Yeah, that's right. So anyway, I sent a text to Norm saying, you wouldn't believe what just happened.
Yeah.
He said, it's nice to think that they remember me, but I did retire 13 years ago.
First time I ever went to that is
You walked across the road and he went upstairs and he goes, you can stay a bit or two when someone comes out to the shower, I do the G pool. Bye.
Gee,
It was magistrates, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he said to me.
it checks out.
It's like of all the courts.
Yeah. And he used to bring a briefcase, old school style.
Yeah.
Old brown ones, the fashion of the 70s. He'd have an apple, a banana, a pencil, and some paper in there.
Love that so much. That is good stuff.
Sharpener and a rubber.
Yeah.
Yes, we are more
Yes, thank you. Good when you are.
than Cold Springs.
Yeah, I can head straight to the Parliament after this, so I don't have to like wait for the protest. Like,
Might be good
It might be worthwhile ringing Byron, just explaining him on that.
probably,
if you
probably
can
not. I
avoid-
just thought that's in a city nearby. Yeah.
Maybe even if
What time does it start? 12, the protest?
12. Yeah. So
Yeah,
it'll be an hour and a half.
I mean, he's primarily talking about railway stations. So,
What's shopping?
Outside of Flinders or something like
yeah,
that.
well,
Yeah.
yeah, or even outside of Richmond,
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
like that, where you're away from. You can, I mean, if you go to Swan Street, where the Richmond station is on Swan Street, it looks like a railway station, and you can just enter
Yeah,
the
true.
I wonder why they moved in the first place.
Because no one was going to head out there, I don't think, with the
Yeah,
protest
that's
enders on, I think.
Yeah,
Right.
Because if you're covering this young, you
too
wouldn't.
far out. But I think
It's at the same
he's
time.
also meant to be doing something this afternoon.
Oh,
So
right.
Maybe he's doing something.
In here, because he has to change the time, so then his movements are probably different.
Yeah.
Or you could even, I mean, it depends. Richmond West. Well, where Johnny was.
Yeah, well, anywhere, yeah. Plenty of stations.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm joined here, obviously, by the Police Minister, the Honourable Anthony Carbines. And we're here to make a statement and then answer any questions. The way this could work is that I'll speak first, The Minister will then speak, and then we will stay here for questions. Victoria Police are very determined to turn around and address the unacceptable levels of crime in the state of Victoria. And today's announcement is about a number of things we're going to do in order to fulfil our plan around that. Firstly, we are going to be able to, in the early new year, to deploy our PSOs, our Protective Service Officers, in a more active, mobile, flexible, intelligent way. And what I mean by that is current situation with our PSOs is that they are cemented to the 220 odd stations we have across Greater Melbourne. What we need to do is deploy them in a more intelligent way, depending on demand and where they really, really need to be. So when that commences, 32 stations will have all day and all night until last train coverage on stations, as they currently do. Another 72 will, as they do at the moment, have permanent officers from 6 p.m. till last train. So that doesn't change. The other 120, very low demand, very low crime rates, will then be serviced by what we call clusters of PSOs. Each cluster will cover off 6 stations. And what they will be allowed to do now with the changes is that they will be able to move around those stations, they will be able to travel on the network, and they will actually be able to patrol in shopping areas immediately adjacent to those stations. That will give us a far more intelligent, far more effective way of preventing crime and keeping people across that network safe. We'll also use CCTV camera, which we already have, to understand if there is a need or a cause to deploy to a location. If there is, we will have those people, those mobile clusters, to deploy immediately to that. This will provide a much safer network where our people will be mobile and visible. That deployment will be done via good intelligence, obviously, but at the direction of the State Command and Coordination Centre, which goes live on the 1st of December. That's being established to understand the demand and the need for our people and the ability to deploy our people 24/7 in real time. So that will very much support the model that I'm talking about. The second thing I would like to talk about is what we're calling Operation Pulse, and that is the deployment of police officers and PSOs into 4 at a time shopping centres across Victoria. We, like everyone, are very disturbed by the level of violence and dishonesty in our shopping centres. And a more visible police presence will do a lot to prevent harm and crime in those areas, but also, if that does occur, immediately holding people to account. Now, that will commence before Christmas. We will deploy into shopping centres, at least our top 10, but 4 at a time, based on good intelligence. No one here needs to be told what some of those shopping centres are or look like. Your Northlands, your High Points, the ones that have suffered more than others in terms of crime in those communities. That should not be tolerated. So a really good visible presence by police, and that's police officers and PSOs in those areas, deploying again through the State Command and Coordination Centre as required to areas of need, will help in a significant way to address those crime issues. The third item I'd like to talk to is in terms of what we're calling reservist officers. We're on record about talking about this before. The rationale for that is we have so many frontline officers performing backroom roles, very important roles, but roles that can be conducted or completed by other people. So we're going to recruit 200 reservist officers so that those other 200 sworn staff can actually be out in communities, out in streets, preventing and responding to crime. And again, that will provide high visible policing in a way that will have more of a prevention and response capability than we currently have. The fourth item I would like to talk to is government have agreed to fund Victoria Police for 842 handheld metal detectors. Now these will enable us to take more knives and machetes off the street in a way that is more effective but less invasive. Most of those staff that will be equipped with these handheld metal detectors will be in those designated areas, again, where we see too much crime. All of these items, initiatives that we're talking about today are very much part of our wider plan to keep Victoria safe. I'm going to leave it at that, and I'm now going to pass over to Minister Carbines to speak, and I will remain here for questioning. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Chief Commissioner. We're backing in the second phase of the Chief Commissioner's overhaul of Victoria Police, with new powers and resources to get reservists behind the desk, expand their visible policing presence in the community and search for machetes without a warrant. Our protective services officers are a crime reduction tool, but right now they're hamstrung by the past and glued to their seats, even if crime is occurring just down the street. As a result, police can't properly respond to the changes in criminal activity. We need to put more local police and PSOs where the problems are. Now, they won't just be on the platforms, they'll be also riding on the trains and patrolling interchanges and shopping areas, protecting people morning to night. Crime's changed, and so must the way we fight it. It's about being smarter and more visible policing presence based on intelligence. Crime's changed, and so must the way that we fight it. We want more visible policing presence, and we want to make sure that we're backing police with the powers that they need and the resources they need to crack down on violent crime. This is about flexibility and deploying our PSOs where they're needed most, not where they've always been. We're investing in new tools, as the Chief mentioned, our handheld metal detectors to stop dangerous weapons before they cause harm. Victorians want to feel safe in public places. That plan delivers exactly that. This is the biggest change to PSO deployment in more than a decade, and it's driven by data, not politics. This is about Victoria Police choosing where these police resources go, not politicians. This is a very significant change, one that responds to the here and now, to modern policing, the community's needs to be kept safe, and the changing trends in crime. It'll be data-driven, intelligence-driven by Victoria Police. The Chief touched on the metal detectors and wands that will be made available to Victoria Police, more than 800 of those. Just point out to you that we've seen some 14,000 edged weapons seized by Victoria Police this year. That's largely in part due to expanded designated areas for stop and search powers without a warrant introduced by our government to back Victoria Police. We will again set a record for edged weapons seized by Victoria Police this year. We're on track to do that. We've already seen some 7,000 machetes and edged weapons handed in through our machete bins. That amnesty, of course, continues to the end of this month. That's 7,000 other very dangerous weapons that are no longer on the streets. All up, that's some 20,000 edged weapons seized by Victoria Police or seized or surrendered by Victorians in our machete bins. That makes for a safer Victoria, and we're going to set some new records again for edged weapons seized. But be under no illusion, the Operation Pulse in shopping centres as we head to the Christmas summer period, supported by retailers, supported by the community, supported by Victoria Police, giving them the flexibility that they need. And we thank our PSOs and our police members for their unwavering commitment 24/7. We're out there Christmas shopping and into the new year, safe, right where you need them most. And we're out of the way, leaving those decisions to Victoria Police. That's as it should be. We're also making sure that across the transport network, where the data tells us where there's after school, where significant numbers of people gather, where the crime is higher, that there is a police and PSO presence. That's how we need to respond. That's how Victoria Police can work harder and more effectively to keep people safe. So the government has made changes to its PSO policy after a decade now to make sure that it's modern and fit for purpose, that it responds to the communities and policing needs to keep people safe. We'll continue to back Victoria Police with the tools they need and the policy changes they need to keep Victorians safe. This is about a broader recasting that the Chief Commissioner is doing across our policing resources to ensure there is more support for frontline police, more support for the community, tougher consequences on offenders to keep people safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister.
Well, could we ask Mr. Carbines first before?
Sure.
Good idea.
Do you need legislation for this, and how quickly can you get it through? Because obviously it needs to be done well and truly before Christmas, and Parliament's only sitting for another week or so.
There are no legislative impediments for the government to make a policy change to allow Victoria Police to deploy protective services officers at shopping centres. In broad terms, police can designate those shopping centre areas as designated areas that allow them, based on intelligence, to then deploy to those locations with PSOs. With regard to the flexibility around the public transport network, again, these are policy changes from the government. They free up Victoria Police to deploy those resources where they're needed most, based on intelligence and their own crime command data that will help drive where they need to put those resources. So no legislation is needed. This is simply a policy change from the government in response to Victoria Police's need to put the resources where they're needed most to protect the community.
Are you increasing the police budget for all of this? Overall?
The need for additions to the police budget, particularly around the shopping centre deployments, where police members and PSO members will conduct voluntary duties. What that means is additional shifts that police will and PSOs will do. The government will resource that. There's a particular figure, a couple of $1 million, I'm going to be clear about that, but that's guaranteed to Victoria Police. So those additional shifts can be done at our shopping centres. With regard to the public transport network, of course, that budget's there for Victoria Police because that's just a movement of those resources. It's not a change in the amount of those resources.
Have you actually specifically costed how much this is going
to be? Yes, I do. I can give you the specific figure. It might be.
In my opening statement, I can address it.
Okay, well that'd be great.
Yeah, I should have covered it off.
I think we've got $3.2 million the government's investing. $2.3 million of that is for the shopping centre deployment for Operation Pulse, and $940,000 for the handheld metal detectors.
Minister, why now? We've been seeing issues in shopping centres for months. Considering there's no legislative change needed, why has it taken this long and why now?
It's a very significant policy change in regard to the deployment of our PSOs, but also we're responding to how do we make a resource available in our shopping centres, and that's really come directly from Victoria Police and the Chief Commissioner and his team that have said we can designate these areas thanks to changes the government's made through legislation to have these designated areas expanded so we can have a designated area for longer, more often, that allows police to deploy to those locations. That will include these shopping centres, and the Chief can go to the details of how they'll determine which ones will be on that designated area list, and then deployment can happen. We're clearly looking to respond to where the community and our retailers, our shopping centre retailers, feel there needs to be a greater effort to disrupt and dismantle violent crime. And this is the best way to do that, backing in what police have asked for.
And just to clarify, Minister, those 4 shopping centres will be a designated area across that 90-day period?
I'll leave it for the Chief to outline the detail, but as I understand it, the way in which this can operate is police could designate a dozen or 10 shopping centre precincts, they then clearly will have a resource to at any time have PSOs at 4 of those locations, but across the 90 days of Operation Pulse could move those resources around based, of course, on operational determinations that I'll leave the Chief to speak to.
At the moment, Minister, people can be certain that there will be PSOs at their local train station. Are you worried that there will be a lack of confidence in people using the public transport system at night now, knowing that it isn't a certainty?
What we know is that the public expect police and PSOs to be present, not where politicians think they should be, but where police know they need to be. We're going to make sure across our transport network there will be 79 plus stations where there will be PSO presence from 9 a.m. in the morning to last train, where the data says the crime is, where the data says the people are who need to be supported, and trust and confidence in the system and in public safety. There will be many other stations, as the Chief touched on, that will continue to have a presence from 6 p.m. to midnight, and much smaller stations, based on the data, will have a mobile presence of police and protective services officers. It's a change, but it's a change that responds to where the crime is, a change that says it won't be where police think they should go, it'll be where police say they should go, driven by the data. And that means it'll move around from time to time. We don't want to just provide a deterrent effect, we want to hold to account those who do harm in the community and give people confidence that and trust and confidence in police that they will see more of them out and about where they're needed most.
Won't it affect confidence, though, in not having a dedicated person at those ones that are kind of covered by those mobile units?
It'll be, no, I'm very confident that people will understand and do understand that these are matters for Victoria Police where these resources are deployed. They're not for me to decide. They're not for really the community to decide. They're for the professionals, based on data that they have, that Victoria Police will put the best resources they have where they're needed most to keep the community safe. That's exactly how this should operate, and I know that our protective services officers, the ones that I speak to, police officers I speak to, in the community, they want to be there to keep people safe, as many safe as possible, where they're needed most. And I think this will be a real game changer in the way in which we're able to really take it up to those who do harm in the community and give more confidence to more Victorians that the police and PSOs are where they're needed most.
But could it be that the data, there's a mention in the media release that the busiest time for crime in the transport network is in the afternoon, whereas PSOs are now being deployed from 6 p.m. Could it be that part of the reason why there's less crime occurring after 6 p.m. is because there's a deterrence effect, because the PSOs are there?
Well, I'll certainly let the Chief talk to, I suppose, the operational thinking and also that deterrent effect. But what we also know is that criminals and those who want to do harm and behave badly also know where there is a less police presence and know where there are more opportunities to break the law and cause harm because of where the volume of people are and the opportunities to target people. So these are matters, though, that I'd leave more to the Chief to speak to because they're probably operational determinations about where those resources are deployed. And that's the flexibility we're giving here. Government's saying it's a significant resource, police should put them where they're needed most, and I'm sure the community will back that in and trust Victoria Police to do that job effectively.
Thank you, Minister. Happy to take up any further questions or provide clarity.
So do you have a specific time when the shopping centre patrols will start, and also when you'll be able to get to redeploy the PSOs and do everything with the station?
So in terms of the shopping centres, that will definitely happen before Christmas, so we're just getting our people organised. That will happen on a voluntary basis. So we do have funding from government, 2.3 million, as the Minister mentioned, to pay staff on a voluntary basis. So it's voluntary duties, as we do at a lot of other locations like sporting events. It's the same model. So we just need to get ourselves organised. We're very, very well through that process, but I can confirm it will be before Christmas and it will be for 90 days.
And those officers that will be taking on those duties, not just the PSOs, but you've mentioned, I think, police as well. Are those going to be uniformed police, or are they going to be public order response teams like we've seen in the city of late? Who's going to be taking on some of those?
They will come from across the organisation, but they will be dressed as uniformed police officers and PSOs. So a sergeant will lead the team, there'll be 5, and the 5 will be a mix. Definitely police officers that are sworn in uniform
We don't have a start date. Are we talking like the week before Christmas, a month before Christmas? How soon?
As soon as we can, but it will be before Christmas.
We've got here 842 additional handheld metal detectors to be introduced. How many are currently being used, and are they detecting knives, machetes in the community already?
Yes, we do have a number now. I think it's in the 40s or 50s. So this is a significant increase. They are being effective, but by multiplying it by this amount, our people will be a lot more effective. And as I said, it's way less evasive, and it'll be in dedicated areas mostly that we designate as areas of high harm.
You say mostly there. What?
Well, they may also be available to other staff to use in a less invasive manner, but they'll be deployed in the main to officers in those designated areas.
Do you need a Jack's Law or something similar where you can use them whenever you can, rather than having to wait to designate it?
And that's why, we've got a lot of freedom around what we designate, so we're looking at quite a wide area at the moment for designation and for a decent period, so we'll be able to announce that shortly.
But do you need
No, that will suffice. In our view, that will suffice.
Are you confident that there's enough officer numbers to be able to do all of those things? Because there's a fair few vacancies across the whole Victoria Police network.
That's right, and that's one of our challenges, obviously. That's why we want to use some of these initiatives to get those officers out behind desks and out into the community. Also using the volunteer duties availability, that works really well. We're going to appeal very strongly to our staff that they do that. There's a lot in it for them. I think they'll enjoy it. They'll enjoy being part of the community. They'll enjoy preventing crime and responding to calls for service. So, yeah, we're very keen and we're quite confident that we'll get the people to do that.
So do we not have enough PSOs to do all of these changes with the stations and also patrol the shopping centres at the moment?
So we'll use the current 1,400 across the station network, but we will also ask those PSOs to volunteer duties outside of their normal duties. And I'm quite confident that they'll be keen to do that.
So it's all overtime, basically?
That is over, the shopping centres is overtime, volunteer duties.
Why are you confident? What makes you confident that they'll be willing to take up that overtime?
Because they get paid for it, and I've just said our people really enjoy being part of the community. They love the mission of preventing crime and holding people to account by keeping Victorians safe. That's what our people come to work to do, and this is the mission.
And with those 200 reservist police officers that you're going to get from behind desks and out onto the beat, what are some of the jobs that they are currently doing that you mentioned can be done by someone else?
Well, if you think about public counters, we'll still have reservists in uniform personnelling those public counters so that those officers can get out on the street and prevent crime and respond to calls for service. I was at a station recently, only last week, and because of the demand on that station, and rightly so, the community need a station and they need someone to call or go to. And we had a sergeant and 4 officers at that station. Now, I know the community would far prefer for those sergeant and 4 officers to be out on the street responding to calls for service and preventing crime and being highly visible.
So it's not going to affect opening times for police stations or counter opening times or anything like that?
No, the plan is that they replace the ones that are there at the moment so they can get out on the street.
There are around about, if you count people who are sick or on permanent work cover, there are only 1,100 vacancies, as I understand it. The 200, is that going to be counted as knocking off 200 from the vacancies?
No. We have the full complement of staff. It's still to get the staff that we have out on the street. And while we have those vacancies, that will assist us.
And about this expansion of PSO's duties to include the areas around train stations, I think there's been mention of that. How large are those areas going to be? Is there sort of is it a block either way around the train station that they're going to be patrolling? What are we looking at?
I'm using the terminology immediately adjacent. So outside those stations, on the streets around those stations where we have shopping and shopping centres, etc. So we're visible not just on the platform, but around the platform and around those stations.
And And that's across all stations on the network?
The ones that we're talking about, yes, absolutely.
And when will you be able to implement your plans for the actual stations? When will that actually happen?
That'll be early in the new year. We hope to have it done within 3 months.
And how soon are we getting those people from desks out onto the road?
As soon as we can get the reservists signed up, that will be in the new year as well. But everything is as soon as practically possible.
The plan for the shopping centres, the specific one for the shopping centres, Operation Pulse, when did you start working on that?
We've been socialising that idea for some time. Weeks, I would say. Talking about, because we are listening to the public. We are watching and seeing the levels of crime at shopping centres. We are talking to retailers, personally, talking to retailers and understanding their hurt and their need. So we've been talking for some time about how we deal with that. This is a great solution.
Retailers, and as you've probably heard, retailers have been campaigning for a specific retail crime unit within the police force.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's not the answer for you.
Well, it very well could be. I'm in deep dialogue with the retail group at the moment. In fact, I've got a meeting with some of them next week around how we build a better alliance and better partnership to support them. Are very important to Victoria, and their workers are very important. So we want to keep them safe. So we've got some ideas that are in discussion with the retail sector. We'll see where that lands.
Commissioner, will they be patrolling within the shops as well as those general traffic areas?
No, they'll be on the streets. They'll be in the area adjacent. Yeah. No, they won't be, unless required, because we do deploy into shops as required, but not as part of a formal patrol.
But inside shopping centres, they'll be walking.
Oh, in the shopping centres? Sorry, absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah.
I note that it says at 3 p.m. there's a significant amount of crime. I don't know whether you've got this sort of detail, but is that a school-related thing largely?
Quite possibly. Quite possibly.
Commissioner, what does, at the end of the 90-day trial, how do you measure success at the end of that?
Well, it's very much an operation. We're calling it Operation Pulse. It'll go for 90 days. We'll obviously assess the success or otherwise of that. I think it'll be quite successful. And then we'll review then what the approach looks like.
Can you go into what type of data you're looking to collect across that period?
Yeah, how much crime we decrease, feedback from shopping centres, retailers, etc.
Can you afford to do it ongoing after that 90 days?
That's what we'll be looking at. Yep.
What would that cost ongoing?
I haven't costed it yet, but we have costed this component. Yep.
Can we ask you a
couple for the Minister?
I've got a couple from Mr Bush, if I may, about other things. Were you concerned by what happened at Federation Square last night with the concert? And would you prefer those sorts of things not actually take place at Federation Square, given the difficulty to do security?
Yeah, we're just reviewing our response to that. It was a concern. I think there was some risk to public safety, so we're definitely reviewing how that went.
And would you contemplate stopping or trying to stop concerts at Fed Square?
We haven't made that decision yet.
Another protest in the city today, what are we expecting?
I don't want to preempt anything, or I am touching wood, but we will have a good police presence at that. As we've started to do, we are encouraging protest groups to stay where they are. They don't always comply with that, but we're very, very keen to keep the public safe from protest groups. If there are those who want to cause trouble inside there. You've seen the recent footage. That's deplorable behaviour. Our number one aim is to keep our people and the public safe from that kind of protest. But where they are peaceful, we'll ask them to stay where they are. If they're not, we will ask them and negotiate with them to limit the impact they have on the community and the shopping community.
You've released new photos of the protesters. They've all got masks on. Does it frustrate you that it appears as though the legislation's been watered down?
Well, let's talk about the mask wearers first. So it would be our view that people who wear masks do so to disguise their appearance so that they are not identified when they are committing criminal acts like we have seen. The legislation is helpful in terms of giving us the authority to remove those. But the issue is how we actually apply that legislation tactically in an operational matter. So we'll work that through.
What do you mean by that? In how difficult it is to approach someone in that circumstance?
Absolutely. Because the first thing we don't want to do is make a situation worse and antagonise the situation. But it is helpful to have the power or the authority if someone is doing that. If we can do it safely, to move forward and require them to remove that face covering.
And you're confident that legislation gives you that power?
We ask first, and if there is no medical reason, we have the authority to have them remove that face covering.
And one final question, sir. Desmond Freeman, the latest, how many police do you still have in the area?
We still have several hundred. I think I'm up there on Monday, Tuesday again, just to visit our staff, get an update on the ground in terms of where the investigation, inquiry and search is at. But we are determined to continue that operation and resource it until we have a solution.
Do you now believe that he is dead?
There are two main scenarios, and it's quite interesting as you talk to the staff who are involved in that operation. Everyone has a different view, and they're the people closest to it. So we don't know whether he's still alive, or we don't know whether he's out of the area and being looked after by other people. That's why we posted $1 million reward. So, I really encourage anyone who knows where he may be, if he is still alive, to contact us and bring this to a conclusion.
And no suggestion of cutting back numbers of police at this stage?
We will always maintain an investigative response up there, an intelligence response, a search response, and I mean our special operators up there, and a community reassurance until we have some resolution to this.
Chief Commissioner, just one last on the protest today. Are you expecting any far-right neo-Nazi members to be there? And what would your message be to them?
My message to those people is to stay away. You are not welcome.
Are you expecting them to show up?
Not at this point, but we remain open to all possibilities.
Just a couple for the Minister, if I may, just on the scenes at Federation Square.
Sure.
Tonight.
Sure.
There were some run-ins with concert goers with security as well. What do you make of those scenes in the CBD?
We understand that there can be frustrations from people who are there to have a great night. The night gets cancelled for safety reasons. We have to leave that to the experts and also to Victoria Police to review and provide advice, I think, to their discussions with Federation Square management about how to proceed in the future. There's no excuse for bad behaviour, and I think it was clearly a dynamic situation when you've got a lot of people present with a particular expectation that gets taken away. But in the end, community safety and public safety has to be the number one call. That was the call Fed Square management made. But Victoria Police, I think, in both reviewing the footage and their engagement, I think, with Fed Square management will probably help make some better determinations about how these events are managed in the future.
Do you think Fed Square is an appropriate place for a concert like that, given how hard it is to do the security?
I think that'll be the review work that Victoria Police and Federation Square will need to provide both for their ongoing events in the future, and it'll be useful information for the government about any determinations we make about how Federation Square can be used in the future. It's a great space. We all love it. Certainly beats the gas and fuel towers that were there before. It's a place that people come together, and we've had some great moments there. But we don't want to lose that because sometimes particular popular events, it might just not be fit for purpose. But we'll let the experts give us some insights on that.
Given what we know now, though, about what happened last night, is that a sign that perhaps the crowd control measures and safety wasn't up to scratch?
I can only just let the review work flesh that out so that we can ensure the best decisions are made in the future. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yes.
existing PSOs, they'll be at Southern Cross, Burke Street, down the bottom, which if you want to get sort of then the backdrop back to DFI. So you can't go to a shopping centre because we haven't designated, so you can't simply put them there until it's basically there. So that's why we can't go there.
Okay, great.
Does that make sense?
Yep, that's good. So they're down there now, are
They're
they?
there with bated breath waiting.
Okay. We'll be down, we can go down and have a look at it. We'll be down there in 5 or 10, yeah. Thank you very much.
Sounds good, thank you.
Oh, Marta from the OH. Usually for crime. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Yeah, lovely to meet you. Yes.